Hey there. Are you looking to sell your home the for sale by owner way? Then check out Listella. Listella is an online real estate platform where you can directly buy and sell homes with no negotiations and no commission. Sellers save the 6% they would typically pay an agent, and buyers can find and buy a home in as little as 14 days. The best part? If you're a Travel Brats listener and you list your home on Listella, you'll get 20% off the listing fee with code TRAVEL. That's capital TRAVEL. Check them out at listella.com or download the Listella app today.
Hey y'all.
I'm Soph.
And I'm Nat.
And we're
the Travel Brats. Welcome to our podcast.
We've been putting the brat in travel
Since 2020.
and we're just getting started.
From hidden gems to world-class travel.
We've been sharing hot and not destinations from a bird's eye view and a
Party of two. So what's on the itinerary today?
The great state of Utah in the heart of winter is a playground for ski enthusiasts and film buffs alike. As late January rolls around, the state transforms into a winter wonderland where the snow-covered peaks invite skiers to carve their paths down world-class slopes, and the streets of Park City come alive with the glitz and glamour of the Sundance Film Festival. Whether you're gliding down the slopes or soaking in the cinematic excitement of Sundance, Utah in late January or early February is a spectacular winter paradise. Hey, Travel Brats, it's Sofia, and today I'm joined by my brother Sebastian, and we're going to talk about a special place, Utah. Hey, Sebi, welcome.
What's up, brats? I'm the King Brat.
He's our King Brat. King Brat is here today, and he's going to talk to us about, where is it, Sebi? One of your favorite ski spots?
I skied Utah for the first time this year, everybody, and my favorite place out of the 4 resorts we hit was Snowbird. But I'm happy to talk about the rest too. They were all pretty great.
Awesome. So what time of year did you go?
So we went middle towards end of January, I believe it was.
And would you recommend that that's a good time to go?
That depends on what everybody's into. So if you are going to see all the glitz and glamour of Sundance, it's a great time to go. If you're going to not really be a part of that and like see the town and stuff, not a good time to go. But if you're going to just ski, it's actually a great time to go because everybody's in town. So town's like overwhelmed. No one's on the slopes really. So it was actually quite nice.
That's pretty cool. And what were your favorite resorts?
So I did a road trip out there, everyone, all the way through Wyoming on I-80 into Salt Lake. So it's north of Denver. I live in Denver. And we stayed on the east side of Salt Lake and we did Brighton for a day, we did Snowbird for a day, and then we moved over to Park City and actually stayed at Park City Mountain, rode Park City for 2 days, got a Deer Valley day in, and then also did another Park City day to finish it off.
Sweet. Now, I didn't know that Park City was the largest ski resort in the United States.
It is. Largest does not mean best.
Yeah, that's a good thing because I feel like everyone's always like, ooh, the largest. It's going to be pretty great. And there's a lot of hidden gems around that area.
Yeah, I think Park City is a great intermediate mountain. There's a lot of big cruiser blues. It's not super advanced. Yes, you can find a couple of those things, but as a beginner intermediate mountain, you'll have a lot of fun. And it is huge. The size is impressive. There's a lot to ski. So some people will like that.
And it does have some cool history. I mean, a lot of Colorado mountain towns have this similar history, but it was a silver mining town in the 19th century, for those of you that are history buffs. And then many of the town's historic buildings are now home to trendy shops and restaurants, but they still kind of have that era-esque feel to the silver mining town. So that's kind of cool. I mean, I know you're the bigger skier, but for those people that either their significant other is a big skier and they're more of a snow bunny, you can kind of do both, unless you're coming during Sundance and it's a little bit crowded.
It'll be a little crowded, but even I had fun in town. The town is cool. It didn't feel like overly posh, like Aspen or something does, but it was nice. I enjoyed the whole thing, the whole
Sweet.
trip.
And let's talk about Deer Valley for a minute. How did you like Deer Valley?
If any of you have skied Steamboat, again, we're talking just about the actual skiing,
Mhm.
I would kind of compare Deer Valley to Steamboat kind of right there. Like a lot of more groomers, but actually really good tree skiing. Nothing crazy advanced. But it was fun. I really did enjoy Deer Valley, and it was the only day out of the whole trip that I got to ski by myself. So I got to just go wherever I wanted on whatever black, double black, whatever I wanted to do. It was really nice being able to just go. And they've got some nice stuff there. It does have a reputation for like ultra glitz and glamour, which, I didn't think was necessary. And I didn't really like feel it was that glitzy and glamoury. Of course they're giving you cookies and stuff in the line, but like Beaver Creek does that. I don't know. It just didn't feel super, super glitzy and glamoury, even though it has that reputation. Actually, another thing I will mention about the Utah resorts, so like Park City and Deer Valley, one of the like glitzy glamoury things about them is they have a lot of homes built into like the base of the mountain. So
Huh.
like there's a lot of stuff that could be skiable acreage, but people have got their mega mansions there. So that was kind of unique to
Mm.
see. I feel like Colorado doesn't really have that.
No, maybe like what would Aspen be kind of similar?
The very, very base of Snowmass has some mountains, like kind of, or sorry, Matt, of course it has mountains. It has some houses built into it, but not like this. These were like full long driveway into a mega mansion, cutting off like what could be skiing. It was really like kind of strange, but also kind of cool. It's definitely a huge development.
That's pretty cool. I feel like you could ski into your house.
Oh yeah, absolutely. People could. Yeah.
That's really cool. And I'm glad that you brought up the luxury thing because I've heard that it's luxurious, but I mean, they're giving you cookies, not champagne. So, I mean, it's nice, but it's not a travel brat bougie.
I mean, the only guy I really talked to there was, we always joke that like wealthy Texans come out and ski. Sorry if you're one of those wealthy Texans, and we make fun of you, but good on you at the same time. The only guy I met at Deer Valley was one of those guys, and he was just, I could tell he just made too much money to know what to do with, and he was probably staying there out for a week. His wife was probably hitting the bar or something, but
No,
yeah.
bunny wife, wealthy Texans all over Deer Valley. I like it. We're gonna
Don't
coin that
discount it though.
term.
It was fun. It was fun.
Cool. And tell us a little bit about Little Cottonwood, which has Snowbird and Alta, right?
Yes. So I feel like those two resorts are kind of like iconic American resorts. Unfortunately, I did get to do Alta because when I skied Little Cottonwood Canyon, I was with one of my good buddies, Tim. Shout out Tim. Tim's a snowboarder, and Alta does not allow snowboarders. Deer
Oh.
Valley is also the same, but since Deer Valley is close to Park City, there was a day where all the guys I was with were taking a break, and I said, "No, I'm here to ski." So I went and did the solo day at Deer Valley.
Oh, so wait, I didn't even know that like these places were allowed to discriminate. I kind of like it
Yeah,
because
yeah.
snowboarders can
None
be
of the others
annoying.
do. Well, it's funny. I told my friend Tommy, who was on the trip with us, he was like, "So how's Deer Valley?" And I was like, "Dude, honestly, it was really strange not having like any snowboarders around." And his only comment was, "Yeah, where all the assholes at?" Just
That's
kidding.
pretty
Love you,
funny.
snowboarders.
What did they just have signs or did they just put that on their website or how do people like know? Is it just in the
I
grapevine?
think it's just by reputation now, and I'm sure if
Okay.
you went online and looked at it, you would find it. But they will literally not let you on the lift. It's skiers only mountains. Park
I
City's not
would
like that though. Snowbird's not like that. Just Alta and Deer Valley.
Deer Valley. Well, I would love to call them and say like how many people like show up with a pass and their snowboard and they're like, see ya, you
I
know?
think it happens more frequently than you would think. I
I
think
can
it does.
imagine. I mean,
Yeah.
can't sit with us.
Yeah,
Drive back,
exactly. Yeah,
drive home.
yeah.
That would
Well, I
suck.
mean, I don't think the snowboarders are missing too much out on Deer Valley. Like it was nice, it was fun. But back to Little Cottonwood, that's what you asked about. Alta is like one of those like legendary US resorts. Unfortunately, I didn't get the chance to go. But Snowbird's also absolutely insane. One of my favorites I've ever been to, and I wish we had spent more time there.
Oh, that's cool. Well, and I read that Alta was one of the remaining ski resorts in the United States. So it must be one of the very few that is just specifically for ski.
Yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
if it's just Deer Valley and Alta at this point or if there's any others,
Oh,
but those are the only two I know of
wow. So
for
I
ski
mean,
only.
makes them kind of unique. Their discrimination makes them very unique. It's a
It does.
paradise for skiers only. Well,
Mm.
and then let's talk a little bit about Snowbird and their long season.
Snowbird Alta are right next to each other. So cool thing about some Utah resorts, y'all, is you can actually ski from one resort to the other. So at Snowbird, if you take a lift up on the far skier's left side and go back into Mineral Basin, or if you're at the base and they have a tunnel. They have a little thing that goes straight through the mountain into Mineral Basin, or you can take their aerial tram, do the tram. Way cooler, I think, in my opinion. takes you away all the top to the mountain. You ski down into Mineral Basin, take one more lift, and then you can see an entrance to Alta right there. So
Wow.
you could ski over to Alta. Point being, where I'm going with this is they both receive very similar, if not the same, snow accumulation. So you'll get it at either one of resorts. But Snowbird, I think, received about 600 inches this year, which
Wow.
is pretty crazy if you follow skiing at all. Like we do. Sophie goes with me to Copper Mountain all the time. They don't get even anywhere close to that. Most Colorado
No.
resorts do not. Um,
No.
Little Cottonwood Canyon gets hammered with snow. So if you're a powder skier at all, great place to go.
That must be the reason that it literally can stay open until July 4th. That's what I've heard. So that's pretty late in the
Yeah, it's
summer.
super late in the season. Yeah, yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
But
Yes. Season slash summer, like literally the middle of it. That's crazy.
yeah. Wait, were we talking about big? We were talking about big.
Oh, no, we're still on Littlewood,
We're
Snowbird and
still on
Alta.
little. Sorry, I'm forgetting, team. In my old age, I'm slipping up. Big Cottonwood Canyon also gets hammered with snow. Something about like the weather patterns there that all those four resorts get much more snow than like Park City and Deer Valley do.
And how did you like the view? You get a view of the Wasatch Range, I think, where the view's
Yeah,
cool. Picture's
it's
cool.
really pretty. So Snowbird is a very advanced mountain. It's like straight up almost. It's pretty cool. And with that comes like pretty high vistas. You know, you're up on top of the mountain range. It's really pretty. You can see if it's a nice day. I will say, I noticed that they get some pretty, obviously inclement weather there with all that snow. So it is cloudy and foggy a lot. But if you get a bluebird day at Snowbird,
Mm,
man, it's so
yummy.
gorgeous, and you can see down to like the Salt Lake Valley. You watch like forget, I'm sure it's probably just like little Cottonwood Canyon Road. You can watch the road, see the road go down to the valley. It's pretty nice. It's
That's
gorgeous
pretty
view.
cool. And the climb would be pretty cool too. It said it was 2,900 vertical feet for the climb. That's pretty cool. And let's talk a little bit about Big Cottonwood. You talked a bit about that getting hammered with snow too. But did you enjoy Big Cottonwood?
So Big Cottonwood has two other resorts in it. It has Brighton and not Snowbird, sorry, Brighton and Solitude. We didn't get a chance to do Solitude. It really wasn't on our list, but my buddy I went with, Tim, he is a huge fan of Brighton. And every other snowboarder I've met who skis Brighton loves Brighton. Me
Okay.
personally, don't really get it. Like we still had a fun day there, but it just wasn't quite my thing. I felt like the way the lifts are set up was a little odd. They're kind of oddly spaced out at the bottom, and you kind of have to walk between them if you're going to go to another side of the mountain. Um, and then like they'd be steep for a second and then it would just level out, and it's like these really level trees, really easygoing trees, and I think that's what Tim liked about it. It was super chill, super relaxing. Tim and I love our beer. We could have a couple beers and not worry about barreling down a mountain at 60 miles an hour.
Right.
um, it was just really laid back. Granted, they did have some gnarly stuff. We did that and that was fun, but most of the mountain's pretty laid back. It's definitely more of like a social, kind of like an Arapaho Basin, I think. Honestly, same vibes as that. Locals, more of a locals mountain, really laid back. Everybody's a puppy dog. Everybody wants to be your best friend, see how you're doing, hang out. Like
Oh,
it's
that's
that
pretty
kind of
fun.
vibe. Yeah.
That's pretty fun. So are the Twin Peaks Solitude and Brighton? Is that what the nickname is for Big Cottonwood? Because it's called the
Um,
Twin Peaks, but I'm not sure if there's just two peaks or the peaks would be Solitude and Brighton.
I guess I'm not big enough of a brat to know that.
I'm not big enough of a brat to have to look it up and put it in the blog. Travel Brats trivia question. DM us if you know. And then I
Yeah, I
did
don't know
read
that
that
one.
it was also the most challenging backcountry skiing in Utah, which would make sense because you said there were a lot of flatter areas that you kind of had to climb a little bit or
Real
backcountry a
quick,
little
I
bit.
just looked up Twin Peaks, and the first thing that comes out is like Mineral Basin area of Snowbird. So that must be it.
Oh, okay. Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Yeah. Sorry, what was your question?
Oh, I was saying that also it says that it has some of the most challenging backcountry skiing in Utah.
Yeah,
So,
Utah's big on backcountry skiing. There's a lot of it around the Cottonwoods. I don't think there's as much of it as far as like advanced backcountry skiing and stuff around like Deer Valley and Park City. Those areas are really built up. Cottonwoods are still a little wild. They're not big resorts. Their Snowbird has like a building and like a second small building that you can't stay in. It's more of like a cafeteria. And
mm,
then Brighton had like a cafeteria. So there's a lot. It's a lot more rugged in those areas, not as built up. And yeah, I think there's a lot of backcountry skiing there.
Not as bougie. You can leave the bougie to Deer Valley and
Yes.
Alta. And I got another question. Did you have any favorite runs at any of these resorts?
The one that immediately stands out, just because the name was so wacky, it was
Mhm.
at Snowbird. And it was called Lower Oregon Grinder. It
Ew.
was it was a double black, and it
Oh,
was
that's
just
great.
like straight down, big moguls, little trees in the middle, so you got to like dodge in between the trees. It was a lot of fun. But
Wow.
Tim and I just saw the name and we're like, we're doing it. We got to go experience Lower Oregon Grinder.
That's pretty gnarly. That would be pretty cool. And then
But
for those travel brats, not me and Sebastian, but for those travel brats that enjoy and actually like backcountry skiing, I feel like you just have to love, you have to be really fit and you have to be kind of crazy to just love going on flat. But for those of you that
yeah,
love it, go check out, Big Cottonwood and Solitude and Brighton. And I guess that whole area just must have a lot, like you said. And then on the more kind of not touristy, because tourists still ski, but on the more like bratty bougie side, after skiing, where if you tried any restaurants, were some of your favorite either restaurants or bars?
yeah, sure. So all of that's pretty much in Park City. At the end of the day at Snowbird, you either just, go back to your little hotel there or you go back down to Salt Lake. So when we were staying in Park City, we did a little bar at the base of it called the Pig Pen, and they charged you. It was like if you buy a shot, you get a t-shirt for $1. So our group of 9 guys all got matching t-shirts.
That's
That was
fun.
that was fun. We did try a little Irish pub in town. Just we went out for drinks one night. We wanted to see everybody all furred up, and everybody was furred up. There's a lot of people there who looked like they didn't belong, but it was fun. Did a little Irish pub. That was cool. We just did like, I mean, kind of an iconic chain, Ruth Chris Steakhouse one night. That was really good. Got some venison.
Yeah.
But as far as like actually going out, other than that, we ate in a lot. We drank a lot at like the condo. We'd make breakfast at the condo every day. It was a pretty good group of guys who wanted to like really just ski and not like go hang out in town.
Now, where did you find your condo?
I did not find it. Fun fact, my friend Tommy, everybody, has a big Greek family, and his cousin, we have some of these too in our Mexican family, Sophie. They're your cousin, but they're not really your cousin. And then there's the uncles who are not really your uncles. Well, I believe it's his cousin, he calls them, plans like a guy's family trip. So it's all dudes, except all those dudes are getting a little older now. So it's just him and one other guy. They needed some fresh blood. Tommy invited us this year, and so he found the place. He organized everything right at the base of Park City. It's cool. Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty fun. I keep wanting to say the second you said he was Greek, the big fat Greek wedding. Is he
Oh
Greek?
yeah.
Is he
Yes.
Greek? I
He's
got the Greek
just like
friend.
that. Just like that.
That's great. Looking for the cutest new travel pieces for your adventure wardrobe? Then shop Best Dressed. From gorgeous sundresses to adorable bikinis and cozy sweaters, Best Dressed has the perfect travel pieces for any vacation destination. Check them out at shopbestdressed.com and use code TRAVELBRAT20 for 20% off the entire store. Well, that sounds really fun. And to spice it up a little bit, I actually threw in some really fun trivia facts that I found about Utah ski resorts and the Sundance Film Festival. So I'm going to ask you them, and you got to give me whether you think they're true or whether you think they're false. So trivia, true or false. You don't have to come up with
Okay.
any answers out of the blue.
Okay.
Okay. So question one. Greatest snow on Earth. Utah is famous for its light, fluffy powder, often called the greatest snow on Earth. This unique snow quality is due to the state's cold, dry climate, which results in some of the best skiing conditions in the world. True or
True.
false?
True.
Man, that was too easy. All right, getting harder. All right, Sundance origins. The Sundance Film Festival, held annually in Park City, was founded by Robert Redford in 1968. It started as a small venue to showcase American-made films, but has since grown into one of the most prestigious independent film festivals in the world.
I
True or
guess
false?
true.
That
Is it false? Is it not
it's
Robert Redford?
see,
What's false
it's
about it?
part. See, that's the hard part. I shouldn't have read all the other stuff because it confuses you. There's one part of it that's false. Robert Redford, correct, and then American-made films, correct. Blah blah blah. Prestigious independent films, blah blah. Correct. The only thing that's wrong is instead of 1968, it was 1978 is when it was
Okay.
founded. So Robert Redford founded it in 1978 instead of 68. And then the next question is film fest firsts. Okay. Many known famous directors, such as Steven Spielberg, George Lucas, and Stanley Kubrick, had their breakthrough film premieres at Sundance, making it a launching pad for some of Hollywood's biggest names. True or false?
Oof. No, let's just go true. Let's try it one more time.
False.
You got me again. Okay.
False, but some of the ones with movies you like would be Quentin Tarantino and the Coen brothers were
Nice.
at Sundance, had their breaks at Sundance. All right, last trivia question. Bizarre laws. In Utah, it's technically illegal to throw snowballs without permission from the person you're throwing them at, although this law is rarely enforced. So be sure to get consent before engaging in a snowball fight.
That's got to be false. That's got to be false.
True.
No way.
Isn't it funny? That's so weird. They're so weird there. It's like the
They
ski,
are.
ski
They
rules
are.
and then the snowball
The liquor
etiquette,
laws, yes.
Utah etiquette. Get to know it before you go there and get disappointed.
Yeah.
We can't throw a snowball. Oh, okay. Well, that was awesome. Do you have a moment or like a kind of a most memorable travel moment slash story from the entire trip that you just like loved?
Oh yeah. It was our last day at Snowbird. It was the last day of skiing for the whole week we were out there. My buddies Tim and Tommy were tired. They decided, hey, we're calling it. If you want to do one more, go for it. I look over at the tram line. There's no one in the tram line. I'm like, I'm gonna go up the tram one more time. So I did a solo tram run, and there's this run called Great Scott right beneath the tram that's just straight down, bumps, rocks. And it was a beautiful day, like hardly any clouds. I could see everything, just like had a moment of like bliss. And I was like, all right, here we go. And I just hauled butt down this beautiful run, cruised all the way down to the bottom. And then I just had like so much fun. I like took off my skis after talking with Tim and Tommy. And the moment that I think is really funny is I was just like staring back up at Snowbird. Like I had my skis like here and I was like looking back, just like kind of oogling at it. And Tommy caught me staring at it and he goes, "You like Snowbird bass?" And I was like, "Yeah, I really like Snowbird."
You had a whole like, I believe I can fly moment.
Oh, straight up. Yeah, it's easily one of my favorite resorts now.
Oh, that's pretty cool. And what would you say if somebody was going skiing, but also going skiing in Utah? Because they may be slightly different, what to kind of wear slash pack for like, the amount of days you went.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know if Utah is always like this, and we just talked about how like they get the greatest snow on earth and stuff, but I disagree. I think their snow is wetter than Colorado. It is heavier than Colorado, and it's not as cold as Colorado.
Mm.
So I would definitely invest in something that is like Gore-Tex, really, really water resistant or waterproof. Um, Maybe do a little heavier layering that way rather than more base layers to keep you warm. At least that's just what I noticed when we were there. It just didn't seem that cold. I'm sure it does get cold, obviously. It's a mountain area. They get snow, tons of snow, but it just didn't feel that cold to me. So,
And bring your powder skis.
yes, and bring your powder skis. Focus on the powder skis and the water repellent stuff. That's what I would say.
Perfect. And I do have another question, and I know you may not have all this, budgeted out, but what would you say, and minus the place that you stayed because it was your friend's place, but minus all that, what do you think you spent in Utah on this ski trip? Just
Uh,
close or rough estimate for our travel brats.
are we including like Icon Pass too, or just accommodations?
Give us accommodations and then tell us like how much your Icon Pass was, which I know
Okay.
includes these
Well,
resorts.
yeah, so I got the upgraded Icon Pass, and that includes 5 days at Deer Valley, the base regular Icon without any plus or like the full version. That gives you 5 days at Snowbird, 5 days at Brighton, 5 days at Solitude. So you're probably thinking, hey, what about Park City? I had to buy a separate Epic Pass on top of that. So I got
Mm.
a 3 day Epic Pass, which was about another with tax and everything, probably like 320. So Epic is the owner of Park City. Icon is, in partnership with Deer Valley and all those other ones. But total, I mean, Icon Pass is about 1,200. Epic Pass was about three. We'll just call it 300, so about 1,500 right there. Granted, that's for the entire season of skiing, not just Utah.
Right.
And then I think hotels and stuff, probably like I think it was only about $600 a piece. And then we didn't fly out; we drove out, so we saved some money that way. Granted, it was about an 8-hour drive each way. Um, so probably about on gas, maybe like another $200 if that. And then
That's pretty
food,
fair.
you know, whiskey pass and everything, just 2 grand. Call it 2 grand.
Yeah. 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 With a
Yeah.
little bit of shots in there, a little bit of, a
Yeah.
little
And
bit of gas.
we weren't like super must. One of my things is I like to get a little memorabilia. I'm a big like t-shirt guy. Like Sophie can tell you all brats, I have a million different brewery shirts and ski t-shirts and things like that. It's kind of my thing. So I got a little Snowbird shirt. I got a Deer Valley hat, even though I only did one day there. Got a little Brighton sticker for my Yeti. So I wasn't like that conservative. Like I did spend money you don't need to spend. So
Yeah.
you
Well,
can do it much cheaper than I did. Yeah,
you got to be a tourist. You got to be a travel brat. You got to get something. You got to get a memorabilia.
exactly. Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know the next time I'll be back in Utah, so we'll see.
Right, exactly. And for those of you who don't know that are listening, usually the regular skiers obviously know Icon and Epic and what they offer and they know what to do. But if you're wanting to go ski out west and you haven't before, Icon has a ton of other copper resorts. It's got some in New Mexico. So does Epic. They've got them, they're spread out all over, all the way to like Lake Tahoe and in Utah and Colorado and New Mexico. So just check those out and see what's a good fit for y'all. And Sebi, I do want to ask one more question. Well, two
Sure.
more, but one more before our close. How close in proximity were all of these places? Are they easy to get to from, each other resort?
I have a funny story that goes with this. So we stayed on the east side of Salt Lake. I think the area was called Mount Olympus. That's where my buddy Tim, his friend, lives up there with his girlfriend. So they let us hang out. They are on a good day with no traffic, 20 minutes to Snowbird and Alta, 20 minutes to Solitude, Brighton. Park City, probably 25, 30 minutes.
Oh,
If
easy.
you all ever ski in Denver, you have to fight through I-70 and there's hardly ever not traffic. And it
Mhm.
can take you 3 or 4 hours sometimes. So to give you a little reference, when Tim and I skied Snowbird, we left relatively early. Probably took us 30 minutes. There was a decent amount of traffic, but it's a little one-lane road. You get up there, you park, you're good. I-70 on the other hand, if you're not out the door by like 5:15 a.m., you're in traffic for 3 or 4 hours. So they are
Yeah.
so spoiled when it comes to travel times to get to the resorts. And on top of that, the airport's only like 20 minutes away from Salt Lake, like center Salt Lake. So you can
Wow.
fly in and I-80 it to Park City probably in an hour, if that. Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. That's something that you don't think about if you haven't left Colorado, and B, that's just like so good. Like that's just
Yeah.
so, I
Oh, I didn't
mean,
even finish my story. Sorry. They were just complaining. The couple we were staying with, they were complaining about how long like the ride home can be from Snowbird sometimes. And they said, we waited an hour to get home one time. And Tim and
oh
I just
man.
look at each other and we're just like shake our heads like they don't even know. It can
No,
take
they don't
us
even
like
know.
4 hours to get home from Winter Park if you leave at the wrong time.
If only they knew.
If only they knew. Yes.
And now, what would you compare it to skiing in Colorado?
What do you mean? Like, would I
What would
match
you
like a
compare if
mountain up
you,
to each other?
yeah, maybe match a mountain up to each other. That's a good idea.
So the closest thing I can like Deer Valley and Steamboat, I think that's a pretty fair comparison. Um,
Hmm.
Park City to Vail. Um,
Bougie.
Honestly, I would take Steamboat. I would take Vail, honestly, over Park City. Even though Park City was still cool, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it was bad. I'm not saying Deer Valley was bad either.
Vail's just
Um,
great.
yes, but then Brighton, it's not as extreme as A Basin, but it's not as like big and well thought out as Copper. Mm, Maybe like a Keystone. Maybe kind of like a Keystone.
Ew, just kidding.
I'm not big
Just
on
kidding.
Keystone. I wasn't big on Brighton, but Snowbird, honestly, we don't really have anything in Colorado that crazy and steep unless, if any of you brats have skied Silverton, Silverton's supposed to be really, really crazy, all backcountry. I have yet to make it out there. But the closest comparison I would give to Snowbird that I know of that I've skied is probably Aspen Highlands.
Mm,
But
okay.
I would take Snowbird. all day, all day
Yeah.
over Highlands. And I love Highlands. Y'all, I
I
have a
still
boner
laugh
for
at.
Highlands. Oh my goodness. I love that place.
See,
But
I
you know,
didn't ski
Snowbird is
Highlands with
something.
you.
No,
I
we
didn't
did
ski Highlands with
Snowmass.
you.
We did Snowmass. And Snowmass is wonderful, but I think the better comparison between Park City is Vail.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can see that. Cool. Well, Sebi, thank you so much. This has been awesome. I want to ask you one last closing question. Why should somebody go and ski in Utah? Elevator pitch.
Why not?
Hey,
Ski
that's
everywhere
the
you
shortest
can.
one. That's the best
Nah,
elevator pitch ever.
um, I mean, if you are into skiing at all, if you like going to the same place over and over, don't go. But if you want to mix it up every year, Utah is a little wacky. It's a little different. The snow's going to feel different. People are a little different. The culture's a little different. I think just having those little variances in each place you go. So, for example, like when I go up to Wyoming and ski Jackson, it's very rugged, very Western feeling. People are pretty like carefree. Utah, they're a little more uptight. You can't go to a bar and get like a double. They always do like a single.
That's great.
But their snow's a little heavier. And then Colorado is kind of like an in between of those, a little more western than Utah, I would say. Snow's, in my opinion, still the best. I think Colorado is the best, driest snow.
Mm,
Um, but things are so spread out. You know, all the resorts are so spread out. It's kind of hard to like bop around like you do in Utah. So
yeah.
something
Well,
different, I guess. You know, if you're looking for something different, that's what I'd say.
yeah. Well, Sebi, thank you so much. This was so fun. And I really now want to go ski Utah.
Let's go. Let's make it happen.
Travel Brats, thanks for listening and tuning in to this episode. For other episodes that are related, if you guys are into skiing or you want to plan a trip out, we've got Season 1, Episode 49, All Things Ski Tips to Thrive During Ski Season. Season 1, Episode 48, All Things Ski Passes and Ski Gear. Season 1, Episode 47, All Things Top 10 Ski Resorts in the Colorado Rockies. And last but not least, Season 3, Episode 133, How to Suit Up for Ski Season. Stay tuned for more info on ski resorts outside of Colorado.
Hey, 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 it's your travel brat, Nat. I hope you enjoyed this episode. We love creating episodes based on places you are planning to visit. So, if you'd like to request an episode on a specific destination, you can visit thetravelbrats.com, go to About Us, then Where to Next to submit a request on an episode on your upcoming vacation destination.